Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wisdom of Thoth Tournament's round of 16. Only the 16 best players remain, as the name implies, and one of them, if not the best, is actually Kimo, playing as Zeus here on Tropical Mirage. On the other side, faced off by our red ISIS player, this is CountVonCount. Fantastic to see him make it here. Very tough first round for him, I must say. But considering that, you know, he was in group number 8, that is kind of what was going to happen nonetheless. It's pretty brutal. Yeah, there were groups. There were a total of 32 players signed up for this tournament, which makes everything super epic. That many players, and there's a $1,000 prize pool, so the winner will take home 400, then 300, 200, 100 is the scaling. And yeah, huge shout out to our website subscribers who are making all this kind of stuff possible. You guys are taking a huge weight off our shoulders. Our website is being essentially paid for by the website subscribers at this point, which is very, very nice, as well as the ability to make daily videos for you. Our editor has been doing a great job at that. Now let's take a look around this map real quick to check everything out. There's a good amount of hunt usually on Tropical Mirage, and the TCs are usually in these green areas where also you are supposed to find some amount of hunt. There's a good amount of giraffes here, so very nice for a Zeus player. Or it should be very nice for a Zeus player. As for ISIS, it's very frequent that you will get pushed off of hunt. So getting as many goats as possible is important, hence all of these obelisks. Count is looking for them. They're pretty cheap as ISIS, right? Only 10 gold a piece as opposed to 15. They would be normally. The pyramids are a thing. you can phase your units through it for whatever reason. I don't know. Don't ask me any questions about this. We have revealed one relic thus far. It's the Mithril Horseshoes. That's 10% cavalry speed. Very nice for Zeus, who will, typically speaking, go for a little bit of cavalry. It's not very common that you see Hoplite Toxotes or anything like that. It's usually going to be Hippicon Toxotes, as ISIS will, typically speaking, go for a fast heroic, which it very might be the case. We'll see how Count redistributes the villagers after the advance. He might also pick up an Anubis play this time, so we'll see how that goes. Very unfortunate with those zebra. Gonna have to hunt the giraffes, the villagers idle, in essence, in this duration. But yes, it do be like that. When you hunt for giraffes and zebra, what I would recommend is that you take 3 villagers, because at least if they manage to get their shots off, the animal will in fact die. We found the other relic. It's a Tower of Cestus for some increased tower damage. I mean, it's not bad, especially as Egyptians. You do get your towers upgrade for free. You might as well pick up the freebie. Bast is going to be the pick, and this is a pretty good wall off, I must say. There's a very tiny space that you could go through. The gold mine, however, itself is rather exposed. If you hug this forest with archers, and Odysseus especially, who has longer range than your Toxotes, the villagers are not particularly safe here, right? That's going to be potentially a problem, and I'm sure Kimo will identify this. Let's take a look at his perspective for a sec. Okay, he does know everything because his scout just died there. He also knows about the second hunt location, so this is probably what he will be bullying for the beginning of this game. He's gonna go in advance through Athena. Hands of the Pharaoh is coming up for CountVonCount, which means that the priest will gain some extra range, but also they'll be able to pick up that relic, Tower of Cestus. Pharaoh is right here, but gets bolted, and that means that Count will very likely have to pull the villagers into the battle to get rid of Jason here. I mean, he's not immortal, he can't take on this many. But he is causing some idle time. These villagers now not gathering food. That's a little win in and of itself. It doesn't pay for the Jason, but you need the Jason anyway. As you go to the classical age, you might as well have him. Might be able to snag a priest there if CountVonCount is not careful, but he retreats all the way, which is exactly the right thing to do. Alright, the Sphinx. Now, there's no bolt available for it, and it looks like Kimo might be just going on to the next hunt. That is... Oh, get out. The Sphinx didn't spot it. Oh my goodness, that is so annoying. For Count, that is. Oh, wait, maybe he saw a blip on the minimap. Maybe he saw, maybe he just know. Oh. Of course, there's an obelisk. He can see that. He can see that. We're good. We're good. Is this a recap? No, this is a replay cast. Well, I guess that's what you're asking. So yes, it's all the replays of the round of 16 in this live stream, and if you're on YouTube, well then we're editing it for you anyway. The Sphinx needs to get out of here because the heroes are coming. Might be able to get a single villager here with some luck. Oh, they're kitchen knifing it back. The Odysseus can hit it, do remember. 6 track rating on this boy. The Sphinx only has 5.3 speed, no problem at all. The priest is gonna get kitchen knifed out of this world. Goes up to whatever is up there. What is up there? I've always been wondering. Huh. That's what the Egyptians believed anyway, that the souls do go upwards. That's how they built their pyramids. You guys know of all those... What are they called? Those little passages that they built in. Yeah. Anywho, Count gonna attempt to take this settlement now. Ditto for Kimo. There's gonna be a military academy, which is a little bit of a surprise. I assume, being aware that Count is looking for a TC grab here and not a fast heroic considering the time. There was no significant score drop. So Kimo knows that a military academy is in fact a good option right now. Hippicon plus Hoplite should be able to actually destroy the town center eventually. Once you build up the numbers, that is. Especially with restoration. It is something that you can do. Depends really on how hard Count goes with unit production here. He's got double barracks, but they're not... seemingly they're inactive. Which means that he actually has the risk of losing that town center. Now the laborer has a bunch of upgrades, but it's just husbandry so far. No pickaxe, no nothing. Kimo has pickaxe and hand axe. The number of villagers isn't particularly high, but it will pay off long term. Now the hyenas are gonna get on top of those villas, which is problematic, especially if the Sphinx joins the party, as well as those spears. Oh, that should be 1 kill over there. Oh, the Sphinx gets body blocked by the Hippicons. Good job by Kimo for sure. Gonna build up on that granary, and then 2 elephants, and maybe even the hyenas will go back there. Nope, nope, they're fighting the Hippicons for whatever reason. They're so weird sometimes like that. I do think it would be nice for Kimo to go after those hyenas anyway. Elephant is gonna be pretty far away from the granary, but it's all good. It's all good. Okay, is this an archery range? Yes, it is. Kimo really mixing it up. Needs the archers, obviously, for the spearmen to take care of those. They're not particularly hard counters to the Hippicons, but in numbers, they'll do okay. They'll do okay. So Count going for this really interesting classical fight situation. Still not really producing though. Is that right? It's not spectator mode failing on us. So just got out the 2 barracks in case he needs it, but what he actually wants is the heroic age. He's already building up the armory on the side of the TC to reduce the surface area somewhat. Eating up all the giraffes, and then the zebras will be next. The lumber operations have been built up as well, which does indicate that we're interested soon in going for a little bit of chariot action. Gold mines are well enough occupied, but right now we're not looking at a prosperity kind of situation. But maybe after this Gazelle crew is gone, CountVonCount could actually occupy 3 gold mines and then proc the thing. Okay, this is starting to be a larger Greek army. The town center, of course, adding a lot of DPS in there. Restoration is gonna be used to get rid of the spears. They're just gonna hop in the TC, increasing its DPS somewhat. But it does look like this position is a little bit forfeit. The monument a little too late. If that had been up, Kimo would have had to cast it a little bit outside. Granted, restoration range is insane, and you can very easily do that and still get the benefit. You just can't dive too deep into the monument. Ooh, the Sphinx! Is it gonna go down? No, but the kitchen knives are coming out. Hoplites are getting pushed back by the freaking villagers. Unbelievable. The Pharaoh is at risk here. Ancestor's Eclipse could be used maybe a little bit more frontally so that the economy of Kimo gets hurt a little bit. He's also going for a second gold mine. Obviously no other upgrades because nothing really is left to do. Already going on the goats. Eating up the last of the berry bushes. There's a lot more hunt for Kimo available though. This is all stuff that could be his. Oh, the Migdol Stronghold taking so much extra damage. While it's not being empowered, its build rate is just not going to be enough and it's destroyed. Granted, a large amount will be refunded to CountVonCount here, but he'll have to wait a sec until he can put down the next one. The ancestor of the minion, sorry, will be pushing back this Greek army. The Hoplites and the Toxotes absolutely never had a chance, especially Scorpion Man is an absolute Giga Chad. The villagers will be two-shot by it, so finding them is imperative. Migdol Stronghold is coming up, and this is a great opportunity for CountVonCount to slap down also a Siege Works. If he can start pumping out chariots and siege towers, that's actually a very difficult composition for Kimo to manage right now. He just doesn't have heavily upgraded cavalry, he doesn't have copper shields or anything like that. Count doesn't have that much gold, so the farming operations are a challenge, but there are more giraffes should he wish to go for them. In fact, I'm very impressed with how much he's been able to gather hunt throughout the game. The Scorpion Man hasn't been very optimal in its placement and only snags a handful of villagers. That could have been better, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, etc. That's a lot of freaking hoplites all of a sudden. 16 of them on top of the Migdol. Count is in serious trouble. Where did Kimo hide these? That's a lot. And there's more coming. 19 hoplites suiciding into the Migdol, but it's well worth it because there's absolutely nothing to stand against them. Handful of chariots, that's it. The Toxotes and the Odysseus are more than enough to handle this. Even the Scorpion Man and the Sphinx is dead, so that leaves just the town center. And I think Kimo is going to dive this. These are just basic hoplites, so there's no upgrades of any sorts on them, and there's nothing on the way either. Repair is coming in, but there's just not enough defenses overall. If the Pharaoh was here, if you could help with empowering or at least taking some arrow fire off or just contributing with its own DPS, that would be nice. There's no axemen, there's no slingers. Just down to the 4 chariots, and only spearmen are being made, which is a rather strange choice. The mercenary cavalry is out, but only 1 was made by Count. If that had been maybe 2 or 3, then we'd be talking, but the TC is going to be sacrificed in the end. Count will have to rely on a back Migdol or something like that. Medium spearmen are out. But will that actually make a difference here? It's an okay composition, but Kimo has done so much damage. He's even on villagers, but down in age. Maybe that is what CountVonCount can play into here. Alright. Second Migdol coming up. Well, it's now the only Migdol. And he's used Prosperity just to remind everyone. Kimo now probably looking for a TC. Or for the hunt, we are about to find out. But I think that should be a TC grab, considering his current resourcing. If he cancels some cavalry, should be possible to go up to the next stage as well. 1 spearman raiding. It's annoying, but the kitchen knives can handle themselves. Should be absolutely no problem. Chariots looking for a little raid, but get caught by the cav. Hippicon are faster, so eventually they'll catch up with them and knock him down. There's a TC grab from Kimo. He didn't do it here because there's the farm to spot, so he doesn't want to get raided. But CountVonCount has the obelisk, so it's gonna be spotted anyway. Oh boy. The pokey sticks are not too bad here. Chariots joining the battle. And that's gonna be a villager massacre actually. So Count all of a sudden not in too bad of a spot. He's a little bit up in villagers for whatever reason. I guess Kimo has been maxed, so no villagers were produced in that time. That's what must have happened. Just because you have more TCs doesn't necessarily mean you'll have more villagers. And the chariot count has climbed significantly. Apollo is being clicked in, medium cavalry is being clicked in, which is going to help these guys a lot. They have such high base hit points, which is really the reason why the line upgrades are so meaningful. That's plus 15 each. And then the attack gets increased, of course. It all adds up. Right, here's the spears. They will win this kind of fight, especially with the chariot support. These guys don't have any armory upgrades, but they do have the mithril horseshoes for speed. Should have used the speed, man. Should have used the speed. Kimo sending more villagers forward. That is a high-risk move. Is he gonna grab this TC? That's probably safer. At least you've got the army here, right? Because this isn't happening. Yeah, he cancels that, and I'm gonna start building here. That's totally fine. Not sure how long Plow has been in for. I think it's been like a handful of minutes already. Never pointed it out. Does Count not have Plow? Oh my god. Well, he just started his farm transition, to be fair. He's still hunting, so we can forgive this. The chariots are collapsing on the villagers, and yeah, they can't take that kind of fight right this second. Granted, we should be able to get out a few peltas for Kimo. Just a few. To deal with the chariots. You never want to heavily rely on them, but a handful never hurt. It's probably also interested in heavy cavalry, as heavy cavalry hippicons are probably one of the better units that Greek has throughout the game. Seriously very impactful stuff. And this, what he has right now is already enough to kind of push this back and actually claim the TC, which is gonna be a very important little thing. He's getting heavy archers right now. I mean, that's one way to try to handle the chariots, but they have more range and more speed, so they can always kite you. If chariots fight Toxotes directly, it's a little more doable. Mostly because of the population count of the Toxotes, but these chariots are just racing and running down Kimo's units. That's been a problem throughout. CountVonCount now getting bronze shields, realizing that the Toxotes is actually the focus in this one. Chariots will be up to like 35 pierce armor or something like that. Getting down extra Migdals, this could actually be a problem for Kimo. This gold mine is going to be forfeit. There's 2 more here. And no doubt Kimo will at some point attempt to capture this settlement. Maybe he can throw down a fortress as well. But as for CountVonCount, what I'd really like to see is a handful of siege towers. He's full population granted. 45 TCs have been in for a while, which is actually a big help here. Being ISIS, he's equal population to Kimo despite being down a TC. What he can't allow though is for Kimo to gain a 4th town center. That would be not great. And if it's pure chariot, there's a serious risk of running against Zeus where Zeus just goes up Hera and lightning storms your entire army and it's all gone. You don't want that. Yay, we got a Peltast. See if it can do anything at all. They have some decent pierce armor compared to Toxotes, but wait, it's almost the same. It scales better once you have more shield ups. Yeah, Chariots is dropping left and right, dude. It's kind of brutal. The addition of the Hippospis makes it so that the Spearmen are absolutely worthless as well. Not that the Toxotes wouldn't do that already, they would. And Kimo now on 4 town centers has Count exactly where he wanted him. There's the siege tower. Man, if Count for semi-mythic age. This kind of walling with a catapult is just savage. Especially if you can do it on both town centers and keep it at a 2-to-2 town center situation. That would be fantastic for an ISIS player. The markets are placed not quite in the corner. I'm not sure what is there. Let's take a look. There's space for markets, but he didn't know that, to be fair. Finally upgraded plow, and he's got sacred cats as well. And we've got the heavy hippicons going after the scorpion man. Taking him down are all these archers and the Odysseus, so that's pretty good. Kimo has gone bonkers with the upgrades. We've got carpenter, shaft mine, and irrigation. Osiris is coming through, however, for CountVonCount. Kimo a little bit further away from this. Oh! 48 hit points. Are you joking me? Well, he'll need to do his absolute best to body block this siege tower, which seems to be going Kimo's way. Oh man, that is so unlucky for CountVonCount. If he had gotten this TC down, that would be a completely different kind of game. Oh, dude. Now with all these peltasts, suddenly the chariots cannot engage anymore. Going after the siege works. And the repairs are well underway. Kimo's ready to go mythic. He's got the market. Just needs to click it. There's Hera. Prediction power is pretty good today. I mean, there's no better way to punish pure chariot. Just click a lightning storm and the end. What you want to do though is ensure that villagers are also in the cast. Because the way it works is that there's a separate damage limit on units and villagers. So you can max out on army in terms of the damage that Lightning Storm does, but if there's also villagers around, it will do additional damage like that. So you want to involve both target types. Oh, no, not like this! Oh, CountVonCount. Oh, no, not like this. Oh, the chariots are gone. That goes into the cringe compilation. I'm sorry, Count. Yeah, he did not want that. That was an accident for sure. There's a bunch more here, but I'm not sure how much it will matter. Olympic parentage is getting researched for better heroes, as if they weren't good enough already. Ay. That son of Osiris is also in trouble getting focus fired by all the archers. I mean, fortunately for him, it's like all peltas, so they're doing nil damage. This boy has 63% pierce armor. These guys are doing 3.6 DPS. Pathetic. But every piece of damage that the Son of Osiris takes is perma. And then you set loose a Belorphin on this boy. Suddenly, it's a spooky situation. Heracles is out as well to be the meat shield. Boss destroyed. Migdos exposed. Underwood passage getting used. The Pegasus scout spotting the trade. If this gets cut off, Count actually has no gold left. Well, this is what's left, but that's also being attacked at the same time. So what I would say is Kimo can take this one at a time. Medusa will nullify the war elephants as well. Even if the mummy was around, the Medusa has a faster animation, so that can be used. That's a great raid, but Kimo's instantly reacting with Peltas and heroes, and oh, that's actually mummy, not anything else. Lightning Storm is going to be used on just the villagers and caravans. What is going on? What? I mean, it worked, but there was a lot of unspent potential in that one. I guess Kimo just really wanted the villagers dead right now. There's plenty of caravans left, but they are going to die as they enter the firing range of the Toxotes. The Mercs are, however, a brutal counter to the Peltast, which absolutely just don't do damage to them. I like the addition of the Prodromos there. And now with the Helepolis going through, the markets will be, of course, sieged down. The Xodis weren't on hold ground, so they are chasing the caravans into oblivion, really. The towers will take them down. Where is Son of Osiris? Oh, we're pushing. Did not expect that. We got Champion Cavalry for Kimo. No Myrmidons, as far as I can see. Myrmidon is like one of those really challenging unit concepts to math out whether you should use them or not. I would say that as you're still getting your upgrades and you're not fully done with it, absolutely go for it, because they are more cost efficient than hoplites are. Hoplites will offer you more health. They're a really good ball of stats, right? But because they're two population and similar costs, well, comparable cost at least, it takes you a longer time to max out and thus more resources. So you can get a good max out timing with Myrmidons and hit really hard. But later in the game, when resources become no object, you're going to want to mass hoplites instead of that. But obviously, with Kimo being up in upgrades this much and this much more population, that was not a factor. And the cavalry and archers already got the job done. Well played. This is really where the decider lied. Almost 7k more resources. Yeah. Whew. Here we go with game 2. There's a bit of a change in this one. CountVonCount actually is blue now. Switching to Odin over here. And using Great Hunt on his initial spot. Also, piggies are involved in that one. On the other side, in the red color, we have got Kimo playing as Set. Now, both of these gods are really good on Marsh, so I really like the picks. It is just so important to understand what god works on what map and when to pick them in the tournament. Odin might work well on several of the high hunt maps, but Marsh just happens to be one of those cases where he's truly exceptional, and I really believe that CountVonCount understands this perfectly fine. He's currently down a score point and thus wants to maximize everything that he can do. Very interesting to get the third Ox card so soon, and I think the TC has just gone idle. CountVonCount might be dealing with a bit of nerves. What is going on here? Oh, I was on the... Of course that's not gonna happen. CountVonCount is way too good for that. I selected the wrong spectator. Please forgive me. All respect to CountVonCount. He will not idle his town center in the archaic age. That is fake news. Anyway, 4 relics on this map, Marsh. We've got the Fetters of Fenrir. Makes villagers OP in the hunting. Very nice for use against water buffaloes, boars, and crocodiles, which show up here a lot. We got the Tail of Cerberus, which is Mithrian special attack recharge time improvements. We've got the Staff of Dionysus, lets villagers carry more food at once, and I actually don't see the 4th one. Anywho, the priest is currently converting some wars on the map, which is really one of the best choices. All the animals actually take a different amount of time to convert with the priest. I actually don't know the exact number, but there's differences in there. I think it's around 40 seconds for these bigger ones. And I think the elephants are 50. It's something like that. But don't quote me. Don't add me. Ah, there's the 4th relic. Harmonious Necklace. That's gold gather rate for villagers. Kimo putting 4 vills on the temple, so we're looking at a pretty fast advance. This whole interface just left us for whatever reason. Yeah, big commitment there on that temple, even though he doesn't yet have the food. Which kind of shows you that even these very, very top guys can improve these little things, right? that temple could have been 10 seconds later, which means 2 villagers could have been gathering at the same time. It's these little things that will be improved over the next couple of years, and people will once again reach new heights doing those tiny things. Just optimizing the hell out of the game. Now the piggies are kind of spread out. This is really not something where you would go and, yeah, I'm gonna shift these home. Probably not happening. Probably not. Kimo's boar is gonna look out for some stuff to find. Could be piggies, could be something else. Maybe he finds an Orthsark, but there's no proxies this time. CountVonCount picking up relics. Tale of Cerberus, not a bad one. Undergoing Freya, it won't affect the Valkyries initially. Later, it will affect Frost Giants or Mountain Giants, whatever he goes for. It's a pretty popular strategy, actually, to go for Njord on this map. There's just so much food. The big boys can go clubbing on TCs fairly easily, especially if you proxy a temple like around this spot, and then walking woods, and then smash through whatever's in front of you. Forest Fire is also available to trap some fleeing enemies. Could see all that happening. Anywho, Kimo isn't really finding anything to do in this early game. This one Skraeling is bullying away the boar, but the boar is much faster, so it can get away from this. 0.2 speed difference matters. Obviously, Skraeling won't follow into the tower. Oh, the Valkyrie actually might get a pick-off if she gets microed in front. It's not happening. Kill the boar! No? Never mind. It's okay. Well, Kimo with the second TC has plenty of resources in the back. 3 hippos is a fantastic spawn for him. He's capitalizing on it. As for his second gold mine, I think this is the candidate. Could be this, but this is easier because simply put, both TCs can rally to there, and that's likely something that will happen. Building barracks also, this is the closest one for production, but he, just in case, he puts them in between the 2 spots, as you can see, almost in the perfect middle. So he's planning for the fact that he might have to migrate between those 2 gold mines as the situation demands. CountVonCount has a bunch of Hersiers ready to take a town center, but it will be spotted by this sneaky hyena just hiding in the edge of the forest there. Very annoying. Anywho, where are the hunters? Over here, gathering boar. The raiders are looking for some damage. Valkyrie takes a lot of hits, which is important to take her out. The Odin units will be regenerating nonetheless, but adding the Valkyrie healing to that will make it all the more meaningful and fast. The sooner you can get back into combat, the more damage you can do. And being down a TC, all the damage that Count can do now matters a lot. Resetting the villager number just a little bit is important if he wants to catch up in that villager count. 33 to 23, showing the power of double TC very swiftly there. Spearmen are being produced. 3rd barracks is not something I did expect, honestly. Maybe Kimo is gonna go super hard with this classical fight stuff. More scouting, but the TC will be up by the time it gets there, so even if we get a good shifting sense on this, which we won't, there's not that many units, can't be denied any. I eat my words in front of the Twitch chat and the YouTube audience. Put those words back in my mouth. What? He just shifted everything away. He does have an Orthsark around, however, so that... What? I can't say I've ever seen a TC get denied like that. That was fun, but sadly Kimo did not have a follow-up. So, in the end, it doesn't even matter. That was awesome anyway. I like it. I like it. Keep developing this strategy, Kimo. Very good stuff. Oh, the forest fire! Might catch like 2-3 villagers. Oh, they're all escaping except the one. Two kills. That's not bad at all. That's more than you normally get, and several of them are damaged. These guys will be back. A third one? No, get out. No way. Some damage though. There's plenty of forest in the back, but it's super awkward. These thin lines of forest are typically stuff that you want to avoid, as the villagers will be clumping in this awkward way that you don't care for. Oh, the medium raiders, so much more resistant thanks to all this health. They're immune to kitchen knives essentially, and they'll be picking off several here. Watchtower is being researched for CountVonCount. He knows that after this little raid, he will not be able to buy any more time. He needs to defend against this onslaught of barracks units. The Valkyrie gets away at 6 hit points. Oh my god. Are we gonna go heroic off of this, trying to wall the map in? Or what is next? No, Count is spending all his resources. He's ejected his relic, which hopefully won't get stolen like that. Oh boy. Alright, Kimo just taking that front TC like it's no problem. It is no problem. It's confirmed. All these spears, however, will shoo away all of these medium raiders. There's just no way that they can stay here. This Valkyrie is dead as well. Ouchies. It's like always so tempting to say that, you know, should make another Valkyrie, keep them both alive. But it's a big investment. So realistically speaking, it's just not something that will often happen. Kimo rallying to the gold mine but forgot the mining camp. But thanks to these spears coming around, he realized... I'm gonna wall it off now. That's a good choice. Where are we getting wood at the moment? So it's a little bit here, a little bit there. Not too bad. Well, the armor is up. Scotty's 35% already. All that all that Count needs is to enter a good fight with the majority of his army, where he can also freeze villagers in addition to the red army of Kimo. Then he can wall in everything, so trapping the crew. But does he have the kind of army that he needs for this? I would say not really. The Count... the numbers are not there. Oh, cringe. Dad jokes galore. I like the addition of Axeman, but this will keep Kimo firmly in the classical age. I don't know how or when he intends to go heroic. It's a good attack, but the Skadi thing? I'm not entirely convinced. Like I said, he doesn't have the kind of army that he needs to truly do damage. Sure, this TC will drop, but then what? I feel like if he had gone Njord, the kind of food that he needs is available for that. And maybe additional town centers could be destroyed. Walking Woods as well, very potent when you pair it with a handful of mountain giants and some defending units. Kimo is essentially maxed on villagers, man. He don't care. That was his 4th town center. Can totally afford giving CountVonCount a 3rd. And the only real play available from here for our Norse player, in my opinion, is Ragnarok. Which, we're not too terribly far away from that. But Kimo is going up Nefties. And like I said, he was maxed in villagers just a moment ago. Gonna lose a handful here, but that's okay. The Pharaoh will take down these Frost Giants as well. Very expensive units to lose. 22 favor apiece. So, Count Yeah, absolutely needs that Ragnarok, and medium Axemen are already getting researched. The infrastructure is there, and all that Kimo truly needs at this point is just walling off these TCs, making sure that there's not too much surface area for the Ragnarok heroes. There's nothing else threatening that Count can really do right now. I assume he could go into some fortress units, but heavy infantry? Okay, we're sticking with playing this out, but I just don't see it. The Ulfsarks are going to be countered essentially by the sling and spear army. They cost more, right? And they're not high enough in number. The 4 frost giants are promising. As long as the Pharaoh is around, this is a trade that can be taken. They're medium spears now. Funeral rites is coming in, a handful more priests, and this is looking like a good situation already. Frost is going to be used on the villagers and the army, freezing, what, 12 vills? No, that's actually more like 20 vills. That's actually a really good frost, and this is where CountVonCount will place down his hill fort. Maybe it's a good thing he didn't go for Ragnarok. He can now max out, he can get fortified TCs, he's getting plow, he's getting rhyme. So these frost giants will be upgraded by the end of this fight-ish. There's not too many priests around to help out. Did the Pharaoh get frozen here? Actually don't see the Pharaoh. Little raiders got taken out back here by the spears, however. Bunch of villagers will go down and the hill fort's helping out. Huskar are being added into the army. Better them than Jarls when there's this many spears. Heavy infantry has come through. Rhyme's almost done. It's gonna hit just as this fight is reaching its middle point. Ancestors will be used to try and defend here. The one priest is upgraded and Kimo is gonna try to throw down a Migdol stronghold, but his army is suddenly evaporating. Were we underrating CountVonCount here? Rhyme is through. Fair Frost Giants are pretty wild. Their stats are much increased, especially in the health department. Raiders going after the Pharaoh immediately, not allowing him to really contribute to this. 70% pierce armor on these boys. This place has 69, which is nice, but not really nice. As additional Huskar get added, chariots are just no longer an option. Kimo switches to triple Axeman production, which is exactly what he should do, but guess what? The Frost Giants don't care about that. And I think this Migdol stronghold might get sieged down. Baldur's coming through. Kimo is down to 74 villagers. Equal now to CountVonCount, who has the better villagers, obviously as Norse. They gather faster. Egyptians relies a lot on the Pharaoh empowerment. Good save on the Pharaoh with that garrison micro as well. The Migdol stronghold trying to pump out those chariots, very desperately so, I might add. Ooh, I don't think he can hold this, dude. The Pharaoh is down. That's a lot of the damage against Miffy. It's gone. There's still 4 giants. I would like to see actually a single ram just adding in a little bit of building damage sauce to this. That would be pretty nice. Little raid group going for the gold mine. There's this as well, which I'm pretty sure that Count is aware of it. He's gonna hit it with the Ragnarok when the time comes. But first, let's destroy this Migdol stronghold. There's a good number of throwing axes, but they're really exposed here to the axemen as well as the tower. Tower, however, actually shoots the Frost Giant, which is probably the worst possible target. I'm not sure you can take down this Migdol with that rag. So best play now is just max out behind this, add in a little bit of siege. You don't need any more melee units, right? So you have enough with that. Using the Ragnarok heroes, you just get your rams going, and that will add in a lot more DPS per population than Huskars would. So the Ragnarok heroes can deal with the army, and the rams can deal with the buildings. That would be one way to go about this. Count going over the regular villager limit of the other civs. Norse have 40 dwarves that they can make on top of the 80 normal villagers, and then obviously a little trade doesn't hurt. The trade is actually really little. This is tiny. Looks like we are maxed out, and Ragnarok was clicked into a 329 population Ragnarok army. Oh, Valley, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciated. We got the Fire Giant as well with the Frost Giants. And now the Rack Heroes can hit both gold mines at the same time. There's somehow even a Host God that made it in there. But the Kitchen Knives are OP. So they shank him. He doesn't have much hack armor. The gold control is totally in. This is not enough Rack Heroes to take on a TC, but there's way more here. You don't want to put them all in one location anyway, as the pathing would just not allow for it. Is that iron shields? Oh my goodness. He's got iron shields. Oh! What are these wheels doing here? Sneaky Kimo, man. And the Ragnarok heroes are getting found out. Kimo down to 70 villagers, 69 now, and dropping rapidly. The Rack heroes are now going to strike the other gold mine as well. These Rack heroes are taken care of. There's no question about that. Way too many chariots and axemen. But they now need to worry about defending the main TC as their production is getting destroyed. And the town center is next. A lot of villagers are exposed around the TC as they're trying to farm out there. Scalloped Axe is trying to come through. That will help the axemen a lot. They're not heavy axemen, they're just medium, so that is not great. Only one fire giant though, which is making this fight maybe a little bit possible. But I think we're really sitting on the edge of our seats if we're Kimo fans over here. Heavy Axeman is trying to come through, but that means that he's not producing units. 103 and 2 population and dropping versus 239. And bear in mind, almost all of this is military population. Kimo cannot hold here, and CountVonCount destroys him. 4-0 TC at the end there. Brutal. Well, it would have been 1. This was going down, obviously, but claims a point against Kimo, which is a big deal in and of itself against such a top player. Beautiful work. Beautiful work indeed. In the blue color spawning on Oasis, we have got Kimo playing as Ra. And in the red, this is CountVonCount, once again changing colors. 4. So, Oasis. Ra likes this place, that's for sure. There's not much hunt to go around. Very little hunt, in fact. It seems to be one of those bigger spawns where you get 4 zebras at the beginning. And well, it remains to be seen how much hunt there is elsewise. Looks like a bunch of giraffes and gazelles. It's not too bad, right? Especially with the monkeys. It's okay, but a Norse player will, typically speaking, be happier to see monkeys than the others. Although it's really far out from home. Ra, however, don't care. Because they can just do the farm strats. Hit rain. And be overall pretty happy with things. I'm actually surprised for CountVonCount to go with the early mine. But I guess he's looking to control the map. Problem is that if Ra controls the map later, and 4 can't put on heavy aggression due to the lack of food, that can be a really big issue. So saving the mine for later might be actually a very valid play on a low hunt map like this. We'll see what he comes up with though, as we could just see a heroic age with a more Huskal and throwing Axeman based approach, and then trying to freeze the second gold mine area of Kimo. Raiding cavalry are also relatively affordable. So it's not that CountVonCount is completely without options. Also, that's a rather exposed gold mine for Kimo. So it's very possible that CountVonCount can relatively easily rush this. He's also finding a good amount of goats, which helps a lot. There's obviously always the chickens and the berries out there on the map. Haven't found any relics. Oh, there's a relic. It's the monkey head. That also helps a little bit. As for the forests, we got 2 big forests. Haven't yet found the third TC of Kimo, but it must be here. By process of elimination. good amount of gold mines overall. Kimo's second gold mine is going to have to be this if there's nothing here. We're about to find out anyway. CountVonCount needs to know this information too. He is looking for it pretty hard with his Skraeling. The Oathsucker's on the other side. No gold mine? Here maybe? Oh my god. Dude, Kimo doesn't have a safe second gold. Unless it's back here. This is not an easy location to hold for Kimo. But we'll see exactly what they come up with. I mean, I suppose it's just gonna be a pretty standard Ptah 2TC versus Freya raiding cap stuff. Into Frost. As much as I would As much as I would enjoy Flaming Weapons Ragnarok, haven't seen that in a while, to be fair. Haven't seen that in a while. I would really enjoy that. Need more of that. Freya's coming through. That is 13 goats. Very nice, as opposed to Kimo's 2 goats. That is not so nice. Oh, he's wanting it off. He's wanting off the villagers. Just a little bit more. Oh my god, Kimo has no idea. He can't see it. He can see this, but it will be too late by then. Oh my god, this is so hot. A Hersir's coming up. Yes. Oh, this is gonna be devastating. I've not seen this in a super long time either. Count breaking out all the strats in the playbook. Freya's in, and that's exactly when the Hersir hits. This is perfect. Going for the Pharaoh. Fearing the fast advance. That's gonna be the big DPS cannon in this. So taking him down quick is a good idea. The Skraeling will be joining as well. Valkyrie is joining. Another Hersir is up. And the villagers are in serious trouble here. Pharaoh won't be able to hit the moving Valkyrie as his track rating I believe is 5. As opposed to most heroes like him which have a 6 track rating. The villagers will not be able to fight the Valkyrie, that's for sure. Count making a house right here on the spot. The Valkyrie is shooed away and Vegeta joins, taking down an Oathsark, and the Pharaoh is just an absolute machine gun of a unit. Oh my goodness. How did he hold this? Kimo with essentially no losses as well. Kills the Hersir. Oh my, this would never happen on the extended edition, by the way, where the Pharaoh is nerfed in the classical age. Have to get hands of the Pharaoh to buff him back up. Oh my god. He just held that, dude. What if Count had made another house? Would that have made a difference? Well, we'll not know now. There's still an escape hatch. Oh boy. The whole walling operation. It's wasted. Oh no. Count. Such a good idea. Such a mediocre execution. I'm sorry, buddy. But it's the truth. Oh, I was really hoping that that would be a cool moment in this game and that Kimo would have to claw his way back into this. But, well, kitchen knives. There's a reason I keep emphasizing kitchen knives every single cast. Oh, he's about to make it a lot worse. That shifting sands just traps 3 Hersir, although none of them seem to be dying. A lot of these arrows are missing after all. So they'll be getting out of here and getting healed by the Valkyrie. That's actually a good piece of news for CountVonCount. He even killed Vegeta. But meanwhile, Kimo is 2 TCs and he's slapping down the farms. Very nice windmills will be formed here. Count trying to get his own TC up. But it will be much later. He's eating the monkeys. Which, like I said, is totally fine for Norse. As you just move your ox cart and efficiency is maintained, the rain's coming in, empowerment for the priest is in place as well. And Kimo never has to worry about food ever again. He's got no plow. That's in now. There we go. Everything has lined up. So the next play is really to get rid of the second gold operation. And now we're going to cheat. We're going to take a look what's here. I will say this is hard for Kimo. But because he's got such a good villager number, already 35 to 27, I think he can get away with it. And what exactly? Count knows what he needs to do. He needs to wall this off as well. And just deny entry and get enough units out so that he can push this back. Making a proxy base right here on location is also a fantastic move because his reinforcement distances to the second gold mine, whichever one it will be, he's going to be in the middle of that. Right? He's in between the two spots, and that's really perfect because now we're interested in raiding Cav, I would say, and throwing Axemen. So just not have to worry too much about chariots and whatever infantry unit he will add to it. I don't know about the third town center for Count. This is a risky move, which could pay off very well. But this will get him stuck in the classic age. I think you kind of need heroic age to be able to compete with Ras armies. You're gonna want to have some Huskar, and you're gonna want to have the hill forts on location as well to guard those gold mines, right? Now, Kimo is exploring the gold mine situation, and he's not gonna find it until just now. So I'm not even sure he'll care about this. He's already doing something up here. Slapping the walls with the kitchen knife, of course. Count doing what he can to occupy this spot. Kind of wish that longhouse was behind the wall. Raiding Cav might go after this. Definitely worth repairing this wall. But here's the rock, and yeah, the pistachio will be able to take down Raiding Cav and throwing axe super easily. One shot. Now shooting a hearse here, which is less good. Anyways, the Migdol location is discovered. Imagine though if Count had made additional longhouses here, and now he'd be flooding cavalry onto this. Like, there's no way that this Migdol comes up in that situation. Priest gets taken down, giving the Valkyrie free reign, but there's a million laborers coming up to kitchen knife this down, and they have skin of the rhino, so they're actual combat units, better than throwing axemen. Throwing axes have to respect this and get the hell out of— oh my god! That is a great forest fire right there. Kills the Pharaoh. And even the villagers aren't particularly safe, but I do think that the Migdol stronghold will come up at great losses, however. So this is the opportunity for CountVonCount to go to the heroic age, to get out an army, and to make something happen with that. The army, however, is so tiny right now. This is a very sad little attempt to deny the gold mine location, and it's not going to work out. Very easy for Kimo from here to repair the Migdol, pump out chariots, get a handful of what's-his-face camels as well, and just defend this. Axe of Muspel is on the way, but without it, the throwing axes do only tickle the rock. Okay, well, the throwing axemen have been dealt with. The axemen will just shred them a new one. Same with the chariots. Picking up the pistachio and the camel, and we're looking for something to locust, it seems. Bunch of dwarves have eaten up the first gold mine. And Count is looking for a fourth town center. He's going up Skadi, which is a bit of a surprise. I guess you can freeze this entire thing after all. So maybe that pays off. But yeah, right now Count just doesn't have the production. He doesn't have the numbers. He can hold that location, but Kimo honestly doesn't care about it right now. Oh, what is this? Whee! Pound Town says that Axe of Muspel should increase the accuracy. So the problem with that is that it wouldn't technically work. The technical limitation of throwing axemen is that they're using some ancient variant of Age of Empires 2 code. So, you know how ballistics works in that game? It's... oh my god, let's talk about that later. There's a huge locust. Killing like 4 villagers. no, actually just one villager died? What? A lot of them were crying, but nothing really happened, so it's just a bit of idle time there. Anyway, ballistics basically means that units cannot hit anything that is moving, which is a huge issue against the rock. The rock is moving, and it's moving relatively quickly, so if they're at the edge of the range of throwing axemen, they're just not gonna get hit. That was within the range, and because Rubly slowed the rock down to 4 speed, it's actually under that kind of threshold that works there. So the rock can get hit. A faster thing would not. And let's say if it's 4.6, I believe, like on the extended edition, then they would just not get hit. So Axe of Muspel is one of those problematic things that the rock had to be balanced around, basically. No, it's not track rating. So, funny thing is, the throwing axemen have 5 track rating, but on the extended edition where the rocks have 4.6 or 4.8 speed, I don't remember, they cannot hit the rock at full range, because their track rating is essentially using AoE 2 code. They're really weird. This is a fun thing that I learned from the Forgotten Empires devs. I didn't know that myself, why it didn't work. I tried in my DM balance mod to do several things to it to make it work, couldn't do it, and then they told me this is why. I'm like, oh, okay. Super strange. Anyway, that Frost is just very defensive. Count is trying to get out a good number of villagers for a Mythic Age to come in with the Ragnarok and stomp things. I gotta tell you guys, when this unfreezes, this CC is probably gonna go down nonetheless, and then there's gonna be Tornado available for Kimo, because he's going up Horus right now, he's getting copper weapons, bronze shields is coming in for Count, which is nice. Not particularly helpful against camels, but camels are not particularly helpful against Ragnarok heroes. Kimo will need to prepare. Does he have a sufficient number of barracks? He has got the one. I'm not sure he's expecting this. I'm not sure he's expecting this Ragnarok. That's a lot of Ozarks. Kimo trying to get the 3rd gold mine location as well. CountVonCount on top of it. Getting some raiding cavalry out, but they're basic. They're not medium even. So the kitchen knives are very threatening to them. The Ozarks will be able to make it through, however. But there's an Avenger now, and Tornado is going to be used on the main TC. It actually strays away very far. I'm not sure exactly where Kimo has clicked as the God Power indicator moves along with the Tornado. So you can never tell, but I think it actually isn't going to kill the TC. It's a huge fail, man. Oh my god. What I mean is, by the gods. Oof, that's rough, buddy. What just happened here? Oh, what was that? Anyway, I think the chariots and the camels should be able to hold this location just fine. And there's plenty of mining going on for Kimo right now. There's another gold mine down here later. But Ragnarok. CountVonCount has nowhere near the number of units out on the map that he would need to actually want to click that in. So what happens now? Getting iron shields, he's going to use this time to get upgrades. What was that tornado, dude? I'll never get over this. Oh my god. Anyways, premature Ragnarok is going to be clicked in with just 6 ox caravans. I think this is not that potent. There's no god powers to back this up, remember. They have bronze shields and copper weapons. Iron shields is coming in, I guess. And then copper mail afterwards, but... I just don't see it, man. This gold mine is totally something that you can abandon. This one, less so. So let's see what Kimo can figure out for himself to save himself. He's got the triple barracks. He's gonna get medium axemen. Sorry, heavy axemen already. That's nice. That's nice. He's a little bit maxed out on free TC. So he's got 160 population. Plenty of axemen coming out after the fact. And a good number of chariots and camels. As long as they're fighting these isolated little groups, it's totally cool. Gold mine almost has been used up. Only 517 gold left in it. Short and Biglow will be destroyed, no problem though. Kimo has like almost 1,000 gold in the bank. He can trade a little bit of wood. All he needs to make after all is just Axemen. And I think Heavy Axemen just finished. Sun-dried mud brick is coming in, which is going to make the buildings a lot more resistant. Masons coming in at the same time. The Ragnarok heroes start hitting a little bit before, but all of a sudden 4,200 hit points. And that will make the repair rate even better, guys. The way it works is you basically have a time-based system for repairs. So if your building has more hit points, you will get faster repairs in terms of hit points per second done. So upgrading this and repairing together is actually a hard counter to this kind of situation. Iron shields might be in. Bronze mail is getting research for Kimo, not CountVonCount. He's not getting any other stuff, and his Ragnarok is getting turned around. Sure, this DC will drop, but this doesn't look like much of anything. There was nothing to back it up. There were no siege weapons. There were no myth units. So it's just the Rag heroes. Chariot and Axemen hard counters this. It eats it up. Kimo doesn't need to even hide under building fire. He just fights it in the open, no problem. Okay, the Fire Giant special is gonna hit hard. Ooh, okay, but it's just one. If that was 5 Fire Giants, we'd be talking, right? I do think that Count had the resources to attempt something like that, but it's not gonna... He wasn't gonna wait anymore, which actually might be a problem. And now Kimo just eats this alive. And he can go on, rebuild his TC, get back to gold mining. He's just fine. The 6 trade cards and the 6 villagers are not enough of an economy to rebuild against somebody that has 75 villagers out there. So CountVonCount is probably dead sauce. I mean, what's he gonna do? Medium cavalry? No, that's not the answer. It destroyed the town center, we killed a few villagers, we killed a few units, but Kimo is still maxed out, dude. And he's getting upgrades behind this. He's getting Axe of Vengeance, so these Axemen will actually be potent against buildings. They're kind of like Zeus hoplites with that, except they're pretty weak in terms of their stats, so they're easily killed. No big health pool or anything like that. Anyway, it helps. It does what it can. Fire Giant spam is the only way back. But the spam isn't happening, in fact. 2 Fire Giants is all that Count could afford. He restarted trade and maybe, but he's like using up his golden dwarves. That's why there's no Fire Giants being made. You can see the 100 favor. He's not utilizing it because he can't. Fire Giants and a dream. Gonna have to stay a meme. Even 2 Fire Giants absolutely are not going to be able to kill this. Granted, Kimo is very clumped. Those Axemen are gonna be hurt, but they can take it. They have bronze mail, right? Yeah, that's gonna help a lot. Medium raiders trying to get in, but yeah, as you can see, the Fire Giants take some respectable amount of damage from the chariots. They'll kill the Axemen, I think. But then Count has really nothing behind this, and he gives up. Kimo is up 2-1. Pretty solid game from him overall. Cool, welcome to game number 4. We have got Kimo in the blue color, and he's gonna be playing as Oranos here on Mega Random. We'll see what this map is like. It looks like Marsh, but it's not. It's Mega Random. I'll explain it in a sec. CountVonCount on the other side is playing as Isis. Let's go. Yeah, no idea who's gonna be good here, as we have no idea about the map layout. Mega Random is one of those maps that could be anything. That's the whole purpose. It's still competitive in its nature, but it's giving you all these unconventional shapes and forms and mixes that the normal maps do not do. So you're essentially going in blind with your god pick. You have no idea what it is. And Kimo picking Oranos here actually reveals the town center locations for him immediately, so he's got at least that to go off of. As for the rest, he's gonna figure it out as he goes. It looks fairly high hunt to me, but for the well, medium hunt maybe. But for the beginning, he's gonna be forced to use the berries, which I don't know if I agree with. There's 2 deer right there, they're perfectly good, but if he wants to not go for hunting dogs, then so be it. Is the bracket outdated? No. It's updated. This is a replay cast covering the matches that have already happened. So this is round of 16. That's the first stage in the single elimination phase below the groups. So that's what we're looking at if you are also looking at the brackets, which contain spoilers for today's stream, so be careful with that. But they are up to date. We got a relic here, so Dwarven Calipers, siege cost reduction. We've also got the scales of a Catoblepas, Myth unit crush. Garbage relic, garbage. Really doesn't play a role in most matchups. That thing needs to change. I mean, crush armor between myth units. If you're gonna fight Colossus against Colossus and stuff like that, then fine. I guess Hecka Giants in this matchup have some. Sphinxes and Prometheans have some, but like the difference in armor that you get from the relic is so small. I don't know. Don't really care about that. Oh, let's put this up. Yeah, it is the perfect 3x3 berry bush squares. This has been eaten all up. Prometheus getting clicked in as usual. So we've got an idea now of the layout of the map. It's kind of like a king of the hill, except you don't have the actual plenty lot in the middle, but it's a forest. And we've got gold mines, but not too many so as to not make the map too centralized. The gold mines are actually spread around the back, which Kimo hasn't yet discovered for himself, but I'm sure he will do eventually. At the moment, just moving forward to pull off something with these oracles, as CountVonCount is actually heavily delayed in his classical age. So these will actually hit super hard. I think Kimo has the opportunity to take down towers, maybe even more than one. Certainly not the temple, the TC is covering that, but stopping the berry picking, stopping the tower, stopping the housing. That's all important stuff right there. And it's gonna be clicked in. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Shocked. Absolutely shocking. The villagers will have to run. But they're reckoned for later. Eventually there's gonna be Terma running around, right? And they're gonna look for those villager picks. Count is still super far away from the classical age. Where's his hunting operations? He's got 7 villagers on the board, plus the pharaoh, so that's not too bad. He's gonna go on gold, and one thing he could start doing, once he has the gold, he could make a few priests, just to try and defend. Mass priest is usually pretty good, but you don't really want to make them until you're heroic, for pre-siege strategies. And Kimo knows very well how to deal with it. And Anubis? What? I'm a little bit surprised by that, but I guess snakes will keep the villagers safe somewhat. So you can secure a second gold mine with snakes, and it will kind of buy you some time with your barracks units dealing the damage. Tower gets taken down, and then the houses are potentially next. We've got the Promethean, it's a little wayward. Would be better for that to join over here where he's protected. Prosperity is going to be used early on 10 villagers. Usually people do a bigger number than that, like 12 or something like that. But it will work, it will work. However, the harassment is looking strong so far. This villager is gonna get Termite. Houses are getting oracled. And it's just a double Termite production from Kimo. He actually started hunting. Good on him. Temple not producing anything so far. I mean, the man doesn't have the gold right now. Is this map perfect-ishly mirrored? Not really. But it's close, right? Because you got like this forest. And this doesn't match. Nor does this. It should be this actually that matches, but it's not. So the TCs are fairly mirrored, but if we reveal the map now that we've seen pretty much everything, you can see the gold mine locations are also totally different. So yeah. It's close enough, right? But it's not actually trying to be mirrored. That would be the DM patch maps. Okay, spears and slingers, I assume, will be the next order. Oh my god, that's 10 Terma already. Diving on top of one spear, gets 2 shot. Add like 2 more Terma, and it can 1-shot spears. Priest gets taken down. Yeah, that's just an overwhelming number of units, and snakes are gonna have to be used. Sure, Priest gets taken down. But what Terma can do here is just run across the whole thing to aggro as few serpents as possible. Takes down the Pharaoh as well and forcing the villagers into kitchen knife mode. All of the Terma are still alive, just taking a little bit of health damage. The Slinger will be helpful here, but even that hasn't taken down anything. Villagers starting to die, and okay, maybe Kimo will have to fight those serpents now and take them down. But one thing he could do is just go up north here and still bully the villagers from there. The snakes actually leashing back to their original location. The spears are getting taken down. The villagers are getting massively bullied. Kimo currently 75 population to 35. This is an absolute disaster for CountVonCount. He has the goal to go heroic, but he has 0 food. The snakes are going to be easy pickings. Villagers have to retreat home. And I really think that Kimo has just absolute control of this map. Terma are getting a little bit attacked by the Anubites, but if you just turn a handful more into heroes, just manually, that's totally fine. Kimo can also slap down a military barracks at some point, which, as far as I can see, he hasn't done so far, but he could. Certainly has the resources for it. Add some Murmillo in there. Is Count looking for a hunt spot, or is he looking to wall this in? Is he interested in the TC? We're about to find out. He just spent a lot of gold, so I'm gonna assume TC. But with just 4 villagers, that is actually running the risk of getting run down by Terma and the whole thing getting denied. Tower's not here anymore, so that's not gonna help. Barely any units available for Count. And yeah, he's trying the TC thing, but I think Kimo is gonna smell this. Sniff, sniff. What do you think Count is doing, Kimo? Oh, he's gonna get raided. That's a good move with the Anubites. Some of these citizens are already weak, right? So hitting them now is actually a great timing. There's no manor here. Trying to power build it up with 2 vills. I think this might work. Oh my god. It goes down. Kimo stopped looking, but he found the important thing. He can sacrifice 1 citizen in exchange for this settlement getting denied, forcing Count to go back in shame, having failed his task of building up there. The town center's cost is going to be staying there as well, so he doesn't need to destroy this. No. Just take the Terma, go after the villagers, and Kimo just takes 3 town centers. Oh my god. Well, 2 at once is what he's doing. Okay, the Terma are a little bit stuck here. That's not the best path to take. In the base, towers are... This is tower defense. And Kimo is the creep. Oh no. Oh, he's gonna get walled in! The Terma are jumping on top. The Terma getting jumped on by the Anubites. Little bit of a disaster, but he's already done so much damage that it's okay. It's really okay. Count is still only at 35 population and 1 town center. Kimo's about to be at 3 town centers and doubling his population mark. absolutely no resources available for our man. He can't even make villagers because there's no food. Spent it all on Anubites. They're gonna get some healing now. They're Guardian Anubites, so that's at least nice. These things are super cheap, only 100 food, so not that big of a deal. The TC is completed. Houses will be used to wall this in along with an actual wall, and this secures the second gold mine as well. So maybe don't write Count completely off, but it isn't looking good. How can he make a comeback happen right now? I think the Anubites are definitely the key. I would like him to split them into 2 groups, so that to stress Kimo's APM a little bit and to force mistakes. Even someone with a crazy APM like Kimo will make mistakes if you make him fight in 2 spots at the same time while he's trying to raid himself. So I think that is the way forward. Count himself also a mechanically very skilled player, so he can definitely do it. The idea behind keeping the 4 Anubites together, however, is that if he catches a villager that isn't instantly reacting, he has a higher chance of actually killing it. With the split approach, you would be able to force more idle time. So it's just having to pick between those 2 options. Well, the farms are slowly coming up. They're still not plow farms, but that's also getting taken care of. Right now, plow is 75% in. These villagers don't have a manor. In fact, the manors are all super compact. Free pickings for Anubites? Question mark. Trying to run for the TC. This could definitely be path block. The Anubites are so much faster than these citizens. Might be a kill there if he can path block. Or just get a good wrap around. There we go. Bears says he doesn't know why he's being called a skilled player. Well, Kimo happens to have more tournament wins than pretty much anybody. Let's start with that. Let's start with that. I'll show you guys his profile after if you're here on Twitch. There's a bunch of medals on there. Just a few. At the military barracks are getting placed up front. Taking down the citizen. Ugh. Actually, you know what? Kimo's doing a super good job here. Saving all the citizens. Chasing this down with Terma, but also at the same time, Count's doing a great job of dodging every single arrow that's being fired at him, or javelin, or whatever this is. Citizen once again saved, so some idle time getting caused, and it's real annoying, I know, but Hyperion is coming through. Oh god, the shockwave. That will take care of at least 2 of these Anubites. Almost. Just about managed to escape there. Some have a very slow attack speed, so they do some good burst damage, but it is what it is. Heroic Age is too much. CountVonCount isn't even going to attempt it. And that means that he's out of the tournament, and Kimo moves on into the round of 8. Really well done there. Very stressful game for CountVonCount. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Ice is just not one of those gods that really is suitable for these open maps with not much food. You typically want a lot of food for Isis, hence why she's so popular on the water maps. We want to thank our MetaPlace website subscribers. Your contribution helps us keep the project sustainable. As we reach higher subscription goals, you are helping us cover more and more behind-the-scenes costs, such as video editing. Check out our subscription page using the link in the description, and remember to collect your perks. We will see you the next time.